get this creepy killer clown, you do want to start off with a fresh face, and I just got this Halloween makeup palette from Walmart for about $3. You just want to take that sponge that comes in the palette and go into the white and then paint your face fully white. If I were to actually wear this for Halloween, what I would do is get one of those white tubes of cream makeup because it would be easier to apply, but this is what I had, so this is what I used. You just want to fully cover your face and also your eyelids, and I did leave the area directly under my eyelids where it has that crease, just the natural color of my skin, because I wanted it to look a little bit more sunken in with dimension in that area. You also want to blend that white all the way down to the neck as well, because we will be doing another little detail there, so you just want to make sure that your neck is also white. And to set everything, I used my NYX finishing powder, and it is a loose powder, and I just put that all over where I had all of that white on my face and my neck. And then for all the small detailing, I just went in with my NYX Glam Liner, and for the nose, I just drew a small circle right on the tip. And then for the eyebrows, I wanted them to look a little bit angry or demented, so I did start at the beginning of my brow, and then I extended it above the middle area of my brow, almost like a triangle. And then I went ahead and elongated it on both sides just to make it a little bit longer. And then I went ahead and just did the same thing on the other side until it was even. And then just to make it look a little bit more realistic, I guess, what I wanted to do was just create a little bit thicker area in the center. So instead of just having a super sharp line, I just filled in that area where you can see my skin. That just made it look a little bit thicker and a little bit more realistic and not so pointy. And then I went ahead and drew a straight line on the top part of my eye, and then just drew it straight down below my eye as well. And I didn't really want it just to be a straight line. I wanted it to be more of an elongated diamond shape. So I just drew a triangle close to my eyelid, as well as an upside down triangle on the underneath part, and then just filled in that area there. And then I did go ahead and elongate the point at the very top, just because I wanted it to go above my eyebrow, just to give it a little bit different of a look. This does not have to be perfect by any means. You just want to keep going in and fixing it as you go. I did not want anything to look perfect because I did want it to look like I had been out on a killing spree, so none of this has to be perfect by any means. For the other eye, I did not want it to look exactly the same, so I just drew a really large upside down triangle underneath my eye, and then elongated that to a point so it extended further down than the opposite side. And then to make it look a little bit more even, I drew 3 little circles on the other eye, and then on my other lid, I just drew a larger triangle there, and then 3 circles on that side. So they were sort of similar, but they did not match exactly. You do want to make sure everything is set, so I recommend going in with a black eyeshadow. The one I used is by Urban Decay, and it is called Perversion. And then I just went ahead with a small detail brush and just went over those spots that I created. And I do this throughout the whole tutorial on everything that I do that involves a black liner. And then I took the red out of that palette on an angled brush, and I started to fill in my nose. And I do go in and detail a little bit more, but you want to make sure that you have the red in place so it is a nice and bright red before you start adding any more depth to it. So I just went ahead and just filled in that whole area. And then I took that same black eyeshadow and just started to go around the outer edge to create more of a dimension. And then once I had all of that placed, I just went in with my finger and just blended that black into the red just to give it a nice gradient effect. And you can stop it here, but I wanted it to look like I had a shiny red nose. So I took the end of a paintbrush and just went into that white and just did a C shape just so it looked shiny and not just flat. And then it's time to move onto the mouth, which is the most tedious part of this whole makeup look. You really want to go back and forth when doing this, so make sure that you know that it is a process. What I did was basically just make a larger version of the shape of my mouth and then filled in the center to start that portion, and I did want it to look like it was an open mouth smiling really creepily. So you just want to basically make a bigger mouth version around your natural lips. And I did want the teeth to look pointy, so when I start that portion, you will see that I'm basically just making little elongated pointed teeth, and then wherever I am not drawing teeth, I am just filling in with that black. Like I said, this is definitely a process, so you just really want to draw out where you're wanting it to go, because you're going to be going back and forth anyhow. So if you do mess up, don't worry, you're going to be going through and fixing it anyway. You just really want to make sure that you are just starting this process and getting everything where you want it to be. I'm not even going to lie, the upper teeth did not turn out as I really wanted. If I were to do it again, I would do it differently. I would actually make the upper lip a little bit closer to my nose so that the teeth on the upper portion just fit on the upper lip area. You will see here what ended up happening is when I go in with the white to make the teeth a little bit more white and pointed, the bottom lip turned out good, and then you will see once I get to the top, I actually have to make the point come onto my lower lip so it basically overlaps, so it starts at my natural top lip and then comes onto my lower lip, so it's basically disconnected. I think it ended up looking fine, but if I were to do it again, I would make it so the bottom teeth were just on my bottom lip and then the upper teeth were only on my upper lip. So like I said, this is a process, and if you want the teeth to look a little bit more sharp and a little bit more detailed, what I recommend doing is going back in with that black liner and outlining one more time. This just makes the teeth look more sharp and a little bit more demonic, I guess, instead of just more of a blunt white like they would end up being. So that's what I did, is just went in with that black liner and redrew the pointed areas around the teeth. And then I just went in and set everything one more time with that black eyeshadow that I've been using. This just makes sure that everything is set and does not budge, and it does give it a cleaner look. And then you want to go in back with that palette, and here on the mouth I'm just using the red and the black. I started out with the red, and right in the inner portion where I had drawn the mouth, I just went in with that red and just filled everything in completely. I recommend going in with the red before you touch the black, just so that it is in place. I did have to go back in with a little bit more of the red, but it is easier to not have to do that if you don't have to. Once I had that filled in, what I did was just go in with that black and just filled in the outer portion, just so it was more of a gradient effect. And I think this does make it look a little bit more realistic as well, so it's not just a red smile just lined around your natural lips. And then once I had that in place, I went back in with the black eyeshadow just to make the line around the mouth a little bit more detailed. So I just completely went around that area before doing anything else, just so it did look a little bit more of a crisp line. Then I just once again took my finger and started to push that black into the red, just like I did with my nose. And I did go a little bit overboard, as you can see, but I do go back in with the red. But before that, what I do is just go around the teeth area, just so it looks like I actually have a mouth and the teeth are not coming out just from the red. Then you can see here, I just hit that red in the center of the bottom and then upper lips, just so it looks a little bit more red and not just black. And since it is a permanent smile, what I wanted to do was just hit my cheekbones right underneath, so it looked like I had a really big smile all the time. And then I did go in with a little bit of mascara, just one coat, and I just hit my lashes just so they were black and didn't have any powder or anything on them. And then I went back in with that palette, going back in with that black color on the same angled brush. And this part is optional, but I did want it to kind of look like a Joker in a way. So I just did a straight line around my neck until the area where my hair would be coming over my shoulders. And then I drew 4 little, I guess, messy triangles. And this does not have to be perfect by any means. I did want it to actually look drawn on. So you just want to do that with the black, and then I did go in with the white and that sponge and then just filled in that area. Like I said, this does not have to be perfect. I did not want it to look like fabric or anything. So if you get some of that black in the white, don't worry about it. It does make it look messy, but I think that's perfect for this kind of look. Like I said before, you don't want it to look perfect. You want it to look like you have been on a killing spree. Then I went back in with that red and the same lined brush, and I just drew little stripes along. So it was basically like red and white stripes throughout there. And I did the same thing throughout everything. And then also on that top portion, I just drew 2 lines just to continue the white and red striped look. And this part was cut out of the frame, but I wanted to look like there was little balls on the end, so I just took that red and did messy little circles just on the very tips, as you can see there. I did want to take it one step further, so I did get some vampire blood, and this kit was just a few dollars from Walmart as well. I wanted it to look like I was crying blood tears, so I just took it from the corner of each of my eyes and just let that sort of drip down my face. And to kind of stop the drip from going too out of control, what you do is just sort of touch the end. It won't completely make it stop, but it will get rid of some of that product buildup. And I did the same thing for my mouth in a few spots, is just took it from the teeth and let that drip down my mouth as well. If you want the drips to be a little bit longer, what I recommend doing is just taking it from the very bottom where the drip already is happening and then just pushing a little bit more product, and that will make it a little bit longer as well. And then once you are done with that, this look is complete. I hope it was helpful for you guys. This was fun to do, and I do have more Halloween tutorials coming up, so don't forget to subscribe for more. I hope to see you guys in my next one, and have an awesome Halloween.